going on? It's Born for Sports. Week 3 in the NFL is here, and the New York Giants, desperate for a win this week, have to travel to Cleveland in a must-win game. Before we get started, I'm just going to ask that you like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me this whole time. And for the new people coming in, just kind of figuring out, coming to see what's going on, I think you're going to like what you hear if you keep staying with me. Now, this week is coming off last week's loss. It's a must win. I mean, the season is basically on life support right now, and that's only because the Eagles and Cowboys lost. That was a tough division loss last week. The New York Giants had every opportunity to win that game last week, and they just let it slip through their hands. They got a lot to clean up, and they got a lot to get done this week, and it's not going to be easy going into Cleveland to do it. And I'm just going to start off by putting the spotlight on Brian Dable and Shane Bowen. You know, last week was a debacle with our coaching staff last week when it came to certain things. Brian Dable, I thought, had a very good game plan for the offense. I thought he made the right wrinkles. He kind of dumbed down the playbook, made it more Daniel Jones quarterback friendly, so to speak. Did a lot more RPOs, going to Daniel Jones' strengths with his legs. You know, some nice intermediate routes for him, and of course, obviously feeding Malik Neighbors so many targets and made him the staple of the offense, which is what he was brought here to be is the staple of the offense. When you're the 6th overall pick, you got to get that kid the ball. So I thought that was a good thing. But to not have a kicker coming off an injury during the week was a absolute bonehead move by Brian Dable, and he knows it. Okay, they ain't gonna admit it, but it was Brian Dable just goofed that up. Okay, they should have had a kicker ready. Graham Gano had an injury last year, coming back. Obviously, if he's coming to tell you he's not right, you got to have a backup plan, and they did it, and it cost the Giants the game last week. Not the only reason why, because they got run over by the defense by the Washington rushing attack, and that brings me to Shane Bowen. Shane Bowen's got a big week coming up, because I've been hyping up this D-line. I believe in the talent on this defense getting better. We got some young pups in the secondary who are actually playing better than the players that are supposed to be leading us in the defensive line and front 7 unit. I don't like the game plan Shane Bowen has had these first couple of weeks. I thought he's playing too much soft zone, okay? And on top of that, when he went to blitzes, you know, it worked. We got some sacks. But when he sat back and had our secondary playing about 5 to 10 yards off the receivers, okay, on 3rd and shorts, I got a problem with that. Especially going against a rookie quarterback. I felt we just made it way too easy on the rookie quarterback on Washington, okay, and Daniels. And you know what? Shane Bowen has not gotten these guys to play up to their what they say, the back of the football card, so to speak. It's time for this D-line to step up. It is time for Shane Bowen to go with the strengths of what is working and what the team is. But this front 7 has to live up to the hype. It has not gotten the job done early. Brian Burns, you're getting paid way too much money. He hasn't done anything. Barely sniffing the quarterback the first 2 weeks. Kayvon was a little better. He was a little more disruptive last week. But you know what? Again, struggles on the edge, holding the edge against the run. It was way too many plays where he could have made plays and he didn't against the run. Dexter Lawrence is always going to do what he do. One of the best defensive players in football, always around the ball. He did what he could, but he's getting double, tripled every play. Other guys got to make plays. Bobby Okereke, he kind of did what he had to do, but also admitted that he wasn't playing up to par. It is time for this front 7 to make a statement and show why they are who they are, what we believe they will be. Now, as far as the game goes, we're going to get to the keys to the game that I think the Giants have to do in order to win this game. This is a very important game for the Giants. Obviously, it's obvious it's an important game. They're 0-2. They need this win, and they're going into a hostile territory against a damn good defense and damn good team who I believe, that defense is championship caliber. They got a lot of talent on that team. But I think the number 5 key to this game for Giants to win this game, the wide receiver 2 must step up and take some pressure off of Neighbors, having to make every play, man. And now, I love the fact that he got so many targets last week, Malik Neighbors, and he is obviously showing in the first 2 weeks of the season. He's 4th in the league in receiving yards, not just rookie yards, receiving yards overall. He's a beast. He's the truth. He's going to be who we need for the future of this team. However, he's going up in weight class this week. Denzel Ward, okay? You got Newsome. You got Emerson. Those corners on Cleveland are top-notch, especially Denzel Ward. And I would assume Denzel Ward will be on Malik Neighbors most of the game. So it's not going to be as easy as he had it last week against that trash secondary of Washington. This is going to be a big-time matchup for him. And I just think that we're going to have someone else step up. Wan'Dale Robinson played pretty good last week. We're going to need him this week. We're going to need him this week, especially how, Daniel Jones likes to go short and underneath with intermediate routes. Darius Slayton, I need something from you, man. I haven't seen much of you these first 2 weeks. Now, I'm going to give you a pass last week because you're coming off a concussion, but you had a big drop last week, so we're going to need more from you, okay? Our number 4 key that I have for us to win this game is the O-line must continue to win at point of attack, open up holes for Singletary on early downs to set up play action for Daniel Jones. Yes, the O-line has been the biggest bright spot of this team so far. If you're watching this channel, I'm big on point of attack, and I've been praising and I believe in this O-line being better this year, and they are showing it. They are, statistically speaking, the first 2 weeks, 8th overall in pass blocking win rate and things according to PFF. So they are doing the job up front and at point of attack. And they opened up some good holes for our running game last week. Let's get into it. Listen, Mr. Singletary had 95 yards, had a costly fumble. We can't have that going forward, man. We can't have that going forward because no doubt in my mind we were going to score on that drive before that happened. But he had 95 yards, had some good holes, hit the holes, quick one move and go. No dancing, a la Saquon when he was here. So, listen, the O-line continues to do what they're supposed to do up front. We should be in good shape to move the ball because it's not going to be easy. This is a very talented defensive line and defense overall against Cleveland. So it's going to have to be a workmanlike lunch pail kind of game from the big guys because that defensive line is going to be ready, and they are as good as anyone in the NFL that they're facing this week. My number 3 key, Deonte Banks. He must keep Amari Cooper from going off. So far this year, from what I've seen, Amari Cooper hasn't really gotten off yet. He's got a struggling quarterback in Deshaun Watson throwing him the ball, but he hasn't really had a couple of injuries here and there to start in training camp so he's getting off to a slow start. This is not the week we need him to get off because if he does, it's going to be real tough for the Giants to stop and get off the field. As you saw last week, they couldn't get off the field against the run. You give them play action, that's going to be a problem. So Deonte Banks, who's been playing very well to start the season, I'm very pleased with what I saw. Justin Jefferson, the great Justin Jefferson, didn't get crazy on him in week 1. And last week, Terry McLaurin, a good receiver on Washington, he held him to only 6 catches, but only like 22 yards. That's a very good play by Deonte Banks. And hopefully he continues to get better and we continue because we cannot let Amari Cooper get off. We need him to take him out of the game. Number 2 key, of course, contain the Browns' Ford Foreman ground game. Listen, Cleveland is a smash mouth offense, man. They want to run the ball, okay? And even though they don't have Nick Chubb right now, who's coming back from a major injury, hey, Ford is a very formidable running back, okay? He's a good player. He filled in very well for him last year, and he's off to a good start this year. And D'Onta Foreman has also, I believe, started last week. So they got a little 1-2 points, a little smash mouth going on. The Giant defensive line, again, they have to show up. And a part of be showing up for this game, they cannot let the Browns run us over. And the fact that they gave up 200-something yards last week to Washington, they should have a lot of of anger and a lot of pride that they want to show that that's not who they are. Okay, so we need them to really step up and stop this ground game, because if you give play action to this team, it's going to be a long day. And my number one key to win this game is you can't let Myles Garrett wreck the game. Listen, Myles Garrett, he is one of the best defensive players in football the last 5 years, I would say. Okay. He is, in my opinion, the best pass rushing defensive line in football when he's right. Okay. He cannot wreck this game. Andrew Thomas, and again, I'm going to say this, point of attack, the big guys have got to be on point on the offensive line. It's going to be a battle. They're going to take some L's in this game during the game, but they got to make sure they get back up ready to go, because Myles Garrett is capable of wrecking this game. And if he gets to the quarterback all day long, Daniel Jones, it's going to be a rough day. It's going to be another rough day, and probably going to be another L for this team, which we cannot afford. Myles Garrett has to be neutralized. They cannot let him wreck the game. You might not be able to stop him completely because he's that good, but you can't let him wreck the game. And thank God we got one of the best left tackles in football, Andrew Thomas. He should be ready, and we need a big game from that. So all in all, I got the Giants with an upset win. They're going to beat the Browns 19-17, in my opinion. I just think with the way they lost last week, they're going to want to come out and they're going to want to they're going to have to play desperate, and I believe they will. I think Brian Dable has had a lot of stuff. Shane Bowen has had a lot of stuff during the week as far as the criticism they took for the decisions with the kicker and the bad defense and the playbooks that the defense Bowen has had. I think that this is a circle the wagons mode for the Giants. If they want to salvage this season, and they want to matter going forward and give next week's game against Dallas some kind of credibility for them to save their season and keep going forward, it has to start Sunday. Let's go Giants, baby. I got an upset, and I feel good about it. I don't want to say I'm totally confident 100, but I believe that this is going to be the game that they get it done. So all in all, let's see what happens. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Born for Sports. I am out. Let's go Giants. We here.